joining me tonight.
No, thank you for the invitation. I mean, it's awesome. What are you doing?
Yeah, of course. Well, I would love for you to give us an introduction, who you are, where you trained. I know the answers to all these questions, but I do love to let my guests introduce themselves.
Well, I'm coming from Cuba, and I also did all my years school was the National Bank of Cuba, and I was part of the years, and then I started like years ago in Philadelphia Ballet.
Yes, very nice. So talk to us a little bit about that transition coming from National Ballet of Cuba to the Philadelphia Ballet. Can you tell us about that transition? Any challenges that come up for you during that time?
I stopped dancing. I danced a couple in Miami and company, and I'm super grateful for that opportunity. And then I did an audition. Give me the opportunity to join the company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's huge different. It's both sides of the same world.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how long ago was that when you came over?
7 years ago.
Oh, okay. So you've been here for quite some time. And do you feel that you've gotten to learn differences in culture and feel more comfortable, especially in regards to just how you're navigating your schedule as a dancer? Were there major differences between working here and working there?
I mean, it's a lot of but we have like pretty static schedules. You'll know every single ballet with the dance the same, and here this I mean the different style, the way they work here faster, you have of the choreography right away, and yeah, it was a challenge for me. It was really hard.
Yeah. Was there a specific time in your training when you connected the dots between food and your performance potential in regard to saying like, hey, if I'm fueling my body, I'm doing better in the studio?
I mean, when I was in school, the last 3 years, I was dancing a lot, crazy, going into competition and performing a lot was hard. So because I was extremely tired, I skipped lunch and I skipped some dinner, fall asleep next to the dish, and I started getting tired.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I remember how many times I switched schools in that 3 years.
Yeah.
Last year. So yeah. So definitely, thanks God, my mom to me, like you have to. This is like and you need a good. Your working life is the only way you're going to survive. Like eating well.
Yeah, you know, this is a common problem that a lot of dancers will experience where they will have some type of shift in their company life or the transition from pre-professional training to professional training. And that shift in of itself causes dancers to experience the hustle and bustle of navigating professional dance life, and so easily fueling their bodies falls to the waistline, whether it's most often unintentional, right? Just from busy schedules and not really feeling hunger cues and just really needing to get through your day, being super busy, being super active. It sounds like luckily you had your mom who was really playing an integral part in identifying hey, you need to fuel your body better, right? You're moving so much, you're dancing so much. Don't forget about this tool that's going to literally give you the energy, the fuel to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that with lunch, snacks, but I was really busy and I didn't pay much attention about it. Like when you don't really care about your body because you're fresh and do whatever you want. But at that point, you have to remember, this is the same body. Body's gonna be with you your whole career. So you have to take it from the beginning.
Yes. And just to reiterate that for everyone tuning in, because I think this is such a critical point that a lot of young dancers miss, is that when you are young, you are not just fueling your body for that moment. You are creating a framework that's going to support you for your adult life as well. And very specifically, we know that our bones, they don't really stop developing until our mid to late 20s. And our younger years need to be utilized to build that strong framework, again, that will take us for a more sustained career. So it's so incredible because you're right, young dancers are pretty naturally, just because of their youth, I guess.
Or savage.
Yeah, able to push through, right? Have that energy, could easily maybe push through even without fueling adequately, but they're stripping their body of the necessary tools that will build that framework for them down the road. So it's so incredibly important that dancers think about that, and they think that, fueling my body now, eating regular meals and snacks throughout my day, it's not just supporting me now, it's supporting me for the long haul. And hearing your side of the perspective here is so incredibly important.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm a coach. She's a national coach for gymnastics. So I started doing art when I was 5.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I think I was grateful because for him, any passive aggressive about food. So I never linked food to something bad. The opposite, basically the opposite. So I think I'm lucky, but from outside, I like people who struggle with food since they are teenagers. Makes me feel pretty sad.
Yeah, and that's why I love having these conversations, because if a dancer isn't necessarily getting that messaging elsewhere, those reminders to eat regularly, to treat their bodies like their tools, right? To give them all of those necessary components. If they're not hearing those messages at the studio, at least they can hear them here and hear them with professionals like yourself who have the experience and the years behind them. And on that note, a lot of dancers will tend to hyper-focus on just dance, specifically ballet. We see this, the classical ballet across the board. How are you able to maintain balance in life while still being able to focus in the studio and on stage?
Well, my mom and I have, I don't know who comes with this rule first, but because we used to work thing for a long time, we have to play outside the studio. We don't talk about work. And I try to with my work, but it's really hard because it's or everything. But I try to don't overthink and having a human life. I try to be a human being. So I don't know. I think I try to have friends out, and I try to do things outside of, and I try pretty in summer.
Absolutely.
So my friends need out of that place and normal human being.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, first of all, for everybody, again, if it's breaking up for you, one thing Gabi is saying is that she's a human before she's a dancer, right? A dancer is part of the puzzle. And yes, we all know that dance takes up so much of our time, but we're going to bring so much experience to our performance, to our artistry specifically, when we have additional experiences, right, to bring to the table. And I love what you were saying with that rule that your mom and that you both have in regards to, you know, when you're out of the studio, you're not necessarily that dancer outside of the studio, right? In the studio, yes, that makes sense, but you're bringing a whole nother level to life and to experience. And I love that. I experienced this too, actually, as a dietitian. The topic of nutrition is such a hot topic in the world at large. So I have to be careful in the sense of if I say, oh, I'm a dietitian in passing, it's very easy for people to want to hook onto that and say, oh, I need to talk to you about food or about what I'm eating. And for what I do here at To The Point Nutrition, it takes up a lot of my time in the sense if I don't compartmentalize my time and also leave my work at the office and leave my work at the studio, then I too can risk burnout and hyperfixation. So I really think that's such great advice.
Yeah, and I mean, your body and your brain feel more fresh.
Right.
When you have a break and you come back, you feel like a different person. You feel like you can do everything. You can improve. Most of the time, I feel better when I come back.
Absolutely. So any pre-performance rituals that you have that you'd love to share with us?
Nice group of people in my present, and I don't know. I think I love for shows, and we eat a lot of candy. And crazy, looks like a party for a little girl.
Yeah.
And I think that.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Awesome. Well, I'd also love to pick your brain because one of the biggest themes of these conversations that I have is to hear from professionals like yourself about how they would redefine what it means to be the healthy dancer. Because the word healthy in dance culture, but also in the culture at large, is very misconstrued. Unfortunately, the word healthy is often seen in a dimensional view, right? There's a very specific set of guidelines that you must fall under to be considered healthy. But what is healthy for one dancer might not necessarily be what is healthy for another dancer. And every dancer has to redefine this individually for themselves. So I would love to hear from you how you redefine what it means to be the healthy dancer.
I mean, it's a to realize a way to improve his career, taking care of the mind and body. Mm-hmm. Someone who really taking care of himself to a good dancer.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that you've given us such wonderful insight tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.